This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
And a pleasant good evening live from LeGrand Cantina in Central Mall, where it is our second edition of the Coaches Show, and we'll call it Week 1. Had Week 0 in the books, so there's a lot to talk about with the 12 teams in the network. 9 of them were in action. I was actually contacting the OSSAA, talking about some things, and I was jokingly telling them maybe we can get rid of saying it's Week 0 because about several years ago, out of our 12 teams, we had 3 of them that were playing and 9 that were not. They were ready for Week 1. Well, now it's reversed. So you might as well just call it Week 1 with a bye week. However you want to call it. It is the official kickoff of the football season this week because all 12 teams on the network are playing either Thursday or Friday this week. And so you can download the app. We want you to make sure you do that. You can get that on Apple devices, an Android, if you're either on an Android or Apple device. Just search the store, Oklahoma Sports Network. We're also on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And then follow us everywhere on our social media platforms. Wendy from LeGrand Cantina joins us. We want to thank you again for being the host of our Coaches Show, which we're going to run hopefully this until December. That means that someone is probably playing for a state championship. So we're gonna be here for a while. So okay. I'm glad that you let us have your back room.
I want to appreciate you to give us the opportunity to host the coaches.
Coach's Show right here. Uh-huh. Here in Central Mall. We used to call it Central Mall. You kind of know old school. If you know where the mall is here in downtown Lawton, you can certainly come and join us each and every Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. Now, I've got to tell you, you and I have been talking about, authentic Mexican, and then they have a modern menu, so a little bit differences, but there's some popular things, and there was 2 people that ordered it. I noticed walking in, and this is what I ordered, you asked me to try, is the chili relleno, which was kind of a white cream sauce with mushrooms and shrimp, and I loved it. And you had to tell me that I could actually eat the chili rellenos because I thought, well, this is going to be fiery hot. And it wasn't, but that's one of your popular dishes. You're going to have me have the protein bowl today. Now, what do you call that?
The molcajete.
Okay, I'll let you say that. I'll just say, give me the protein bowl. And what's all in that?
We put a steak, grilled chicken, carnitas. We do some shrimp, chorizo, some cheese, and cactus.
Very nice. So yes. I'm looking forward to that. You can have that. That's also a popular item here. And then coming soon, a new location to Wichita Falls, Texas. That's exciting.
It's exciting. It is exciting, and we're ready to announce that we are on the plans to open hopefully by the end of September.
End of September. All right. So that quick. All right. So we got a lot of football to talk. You can come and join us at the LeGrand Cantina. You are going to be taken care of because as soon as you hit the seat, there's chips and salsa right there. And it is really a good salsa too, homemade with the tomatoes that you're going to like with that as well. So come join us for the Coaches Show. We got the MacArthur Highlanders. They're on slate first, one of our 6 schools that we'll be talking to tonight, and we'll do that right after this timeout on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. and finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed, because your success is our success.
Well, welcome back to the LeGrand Cantina right here in the mall. In fact, you can join us each and every Tuesdays at 6 p.m. So the MacArthur Highlanders are up first. And, Coach, we'll talk coach speak for just a second or two. Coaches immediately you may start Friday night late, but it's usually Saturday morning to break down film, and you can kind of give kind of an indication of where your team is, what you liked, and what you thought going forward for MacArthur.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals. We, played a really good Elgin team, and like I said here last week, it's either way, it's going to be good for us, and I truly believe that we're gonna learn from this. We're gonna get much more out of this than if we would have, played a team like we did last year that we just won 60-0 and it was easy. So,
right.
It's Elgin's a good team, and I was proud of our kids. I thought they fought hard, they played hard. I think both teams played a good, clean game. And they came out on top, and we're going to learn from it and be better for it.
Well, I know that now it's on film, so everybody's going to have to prep for it. But when's the first time you started a game with an onside kick? It's probably been a while, hasn't it?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
That's not something normally we're expecting.
I know.
Your kickoff, and they weren't expecting it, and you guys got the jump, and that was really the start of something exciting there.
Well, of course, then we went backwards on 3 straight plays.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals we like to do, like people to have to prepare for it.
Sure.
You got to put it on film,
Yeah, well, then you got that. And so another big week. I mean, we already talked about 0 week and what that represented. Another, great atmosphere where it was packed house. And I happened to be there during the Eisenhower Lawton High game, and that was kind of an instant classic. That game went back and forth. And that was going with the crowds that got into it. So now you have the same kind of setup. These are the start of the inner city rivals, and Eisenhower's first. I saw a little bit of the game. I'm sure you did too. Yep. So let's break down what you thought of Eisenhower for this week.
Well, first of all, they've got 2 extremely dynamic players. Sari Sheridan and Rashad Hurd are both college guys, both really good with the ball in their hand, and it's going to be a challenge to contain those 2 players. That's the first thing that jumps out on you. But I think a typical Lawton team, they're athletic in the back end, and they play hard, and they always play hard against us, and we expect that Friday night.
Well, and you play with emotions, too. I mean, that game right there for Friday, that just went all the way up into the fourth quarter. I remember, this goes back a little bit of history. We used to have that, and in fact, you could expect that with Eisenhower. When Eisenhower and MacArthur were going back and forth, and you had that one that was the last-minute catch, I'll never forget that, where went up the receiver, and who was that? Was
Gary McKnight.
Gary McKnight went up, and 3 defenders all went up with him, and he was just out tall, and he ends up getting that, and the other 2 collide into each other, and they fall down, and he just waltzes in, and those are memories that so right. Maybe it's teamed up to be one of those last minute. I know you don't like it. Coaches don't like heart attack endings, but
I think we had at one point it was like 7 out of 10 years it was decided by a touchdown or less. So we've had some really good games with them.
All right, let's go to some of our players. We'll go right down the line. You can grab the microphone, give us your name, your position, and what grade you're in.
Hi, my name is Trey Kibble. I'm a class of 2025. I play DN and fullback.
All right, and you got to carry out the hammer. No, hey, we're not done with you yet. So you get to carry out the hammer for the first week, and that's kind of unique because that is a testament to leading up to. There's no game film to say, okay, this is a hard hit. This was what you did over the summer. This is what you did to earn that. What was it like, and what kind of honor it was for you to carry out the hammer in week 0?
I feel like it was a really big honor, especially going into a really, really big week 0 game. I feel like just the work I put in over the offseason really showed in our scrimmage, and it was really just an honor to lead my team out there with it.
Okay, and coming into this season, how did you want to improve? How did you want to get better at your craft, your game?
Really, overall, just my speed. I'm really strong, but you can't be strong and slow. You got to pick and choose. So I really just wanted to be quicker off the ball, use my hands a lot more, just be more physical all the way around.
And what do you see yourself doing? You're a senior. What do you yourself in the future? Like, is it additional schooling, career? If so, what direction do you think you want to take?
After high school, I plan on going to college and getting a couple of degrees under my belt, and then finally going to work.
All right. And lastly, I'm going to ask, what if there is a game remaining on the schedule that you're going to get hyped up for everyone, and they're all exciting. But is there one that you kind of circled out as being your favorite from here on out?
It would definitely have to be Eisenhower or Lawton High.
Okay, and that's because of the city and the rivalry and all the rest of that stuff, and a city championship on the line for all of you. And now Eisenhower's already beaten Lawton High. All they have to do is you stand in the way of that. They beat you, and they're city champs. So you do that, you have to turn around and beat Lawton High. So they're both in the position to prove themselves this year.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then we'll pass the mic right on down. Give us your name, your grade, and what position.
Jordan Murray, class of 2025, fullback and DN.
All right, so you play a little bit of both ways. Do you favor one or the other? I mean, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'd probably go offense more than defense, yeah.
Well, your offensive coaches are going to appreciate that. I don't know about Refit. I don't think, if you're going to be in the doghouse there. What did you want to come in for your senior year to make a statement for yourself? I mean, not just for the team and what you leave as a legacy here, but how did you want to get better at what you do?
Probably just going in and I was trying on my intensity, just being more aggressive and firing off the ball and stuff like that, and just getting stronger and things of that nature, yeah.
Okay, now, last week we already had Elgin pack the stands or on the railings. We're going to see that probably in the next two games. What does that do for you as a player? Does it hype you up? Is it a distraction? Which one is it for you?
I think it hypes me up, but overall, I really don't think it affects me either. Like, if it was a hype game or if it wasn't, I'm still going to go out there with a high intensity and still going to lift my team up. And things of that nature, yeah. So.
Yeah, because I wonder sometimes when the crowds get up and, Elgin brings the rocks and, and they get distraction. So how are you able to put that out of your mind and still focus on the game at hand?
Well, fans or no fans, we're still playing the game. So, if we want the outcome that we want, I'm going to have to lock all that out and focus on my team. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, good luck to you, this city rivals. I can't wait. And I don't really put it with too much anticipation because they come so fast. And Coach and I will be looking at each other, and I'll say here it is week 5. We're halfway through the season. So you guys enjoy this run as seniors because it's a fun season, and we love tagging along with you.
Thank you.
All right. Coach, good luck, and we'll be, of course, on the air at 6:30 for our pregame, 7 o'clock for kickoff on both channels. That's the MacArthur Highlanders. Elgin Owls are up next on our Coaches Show, and we'll do that right after this timeout on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
The thing with car buying nowadays is just how many options there are when it comes to where to actually get a car. Dealerships, websites, auctions, private sellers, and so on. But knowing exactly where to get your car loan makes it all much less stressful. That's where Communication Federal can help. There's a reason we're known for auto loans around here. Lots of car options, lots of places to buy, but only one choice for an auto loan. Communication Federal Credit Union.
we are the Oklahoma Sports Network, and we are live at La Grande Cantina in the mall. We would love for you to come join us each and every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Even Coach was drilling me on the chili rellenos, and he said, yeah, you had those. I said, they are good. He was a fan of those, and I said, he says, if someone can do them good, you've done something right. So try them out. If you have not, it's a great opportunity for you to do so. So, Chalmer, Wyatt, we're going to talk a little about Elgin Hour football. You got to be excited, for a week 0 game such as this. Just a short bus ride, but you, again, hats off to your fans. You packed the visitor side, and they were on the railings because on the press box side we saw that the entire time. But, you always get kudos of how you travel. You travel well. And then, of course, you got a good start to a season. So I'll do like with MacArthur, break down your goods, bads, and indifference of coming away from that game to know who the Elgin Owls are going forward.
Yeah, going into it, MacArthur's really good. I talked to Coach Manning after the game, and they're going to make a run for that district. And so that, and then preparing for that for your first football game is tough. So after the game, I'd like to play a little bit cleaner. Execute some things a little bit differently, but obviously you come out with a win, that's big. But we talked as a team about the mistakes we made, what we got to do to clean it up, and it was really hard going into week 0 for that. I think you ask our staff, they'd say the same thing, just being early, tough opponent, but really proud of the outcome and the fight that our kids had.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about, some coaches feel guilty on this. This goes back to when I used to talk to Randy Breeze at Lawton High, and I said, your running back had X amount of carries that game. He said, ooh, I don't like to hear that. I don't want to do that. But Ritzenmeyer just didn't seem like there was no end to what he did. And when I was talking about his play, someone texted me, he says, well, he's a 2-time state wrestling champion. I said, well, yeah, you get a wrestler with his toughness, his physicality, but a lot of times fans, and we saw glimpses of him last year when he had to come in and spell number 9, who's the record-breaking, holder for Elgin, and I knew what was coming. But were you surprised of his stamina? It's like one thing to tote that rock, but for 4 quarters, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive. It's hard to get in shape week 0, and then we handed them the ball over 25 times, and that's the workload that at times we're going to need from him. And we also saw Braxton Antuna come in and spell him really well. Yeah,
because he's kind of the quick scat back. You got the bruiser, you got the physical 3 to 5 yards, even though he can probably do more than that. And then you get that offset where the defense can't plan for that because he's out of the gate really fast.
Yeah, I think they complemented each other really well. And I didn't know how it would be going into this year. Matt and Ritson were very, very different. And then Ritson and Tiny, is what we call them, are very, very similar and different at the same time. So, with our offensive style of football, it's good to have 2 backs for sure.
Now, you said that this is going to beat you well in the future, and I agree with that because when I was like in the 3rd quarter, I said, you know what this looks like? This looks like 4A football. This is Clinton. This is what they do. They're going to grind out the clock. They're going to try to limit your opponent's offensive possessions just because they're going to have ball control. And they're going to say, take it away from us. And I said, week 0, you've already got that question answered already.
Yeah, offensively, we're different than we were last year.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I think it plays to our strengths. We still have the ability to throw the ball around. Obviously with our senior quarterback back again.
Yes.
But we've obviously got to still find ourselves each week offensively. But it was a really good starting point for us.
Well, we saw that with the tight end at 88, using the use of the tight end, which was really good too. In his frame size, and he's gonna out. He's almost close to 6'5". Any kind of corner safety or even linebacker that's going to have to stay on him. So that's a plus. And I thought it was also nice too. And you mentioned Trace Laura, your 4-year starter, is that there was not a lot of pressure on him to have to come back with a lot of passing. You could just kind of ease into that. So that's really a plus. Let's get into this next game because I think all inquiring minds want to know. You look on the schedule and you'll say, Hillcrest, where are they in Oklahoma? Well, they're not. They're in Texas. And I was asking you, I said, okay, there's got to be a storyline, maybe a connection, and there really wasn't. So you got to hear how Hillcrest came to be as your second game. So how did you get that all together?
Yeah, after the lawsuit went through and we had to go back and redistrict, like I said before, it only affected a few teams. So, the OFBCA put out a sheet of teams looking, and we reached out to everybody from 2A to 6A. But a lot of people already had cards played where they had kind of got what they were wanting with non-district, so we opened it up even more, reached out to Texas high school football, and the guy, Matt Stepp, that I reached out to said, here, I got a list of these guys in Texas. So we reached out to all of them and, try to make some deals with some guys. Hey, I need week 1. Hey, I can't do week 3. And so it had to fit too. So it's really hard. Non-district can be tough, especially in that situation where not everybody's looking and a lot of people already had it ironed out. So called them, and Texas had already redistricted like a month before that, and so anybody looking were really desperate.
Wow.
So I said, hey, we're looking. He said, hey, we're looking. Let's play. And I think he said, all right, where are you guys at?
Now, how many calls did you have to make until you got to that one? Was he your first call, or was he down the list a little bit?
No, it was down the list. Yeah, we had crossed off a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least you put it together. And what do you know of them? They're going to come travel here, so you're going to get a home game with them, and hopefully you'll get to return the favor. I guess you and I were talking about out of the metro Dallas-Fort Worth area, so that's where they hail from. So tell us a little bit about, they're a 5A school. We had to look that up. But outside of that, what else can you tell of what you're expecting on Friday night?
Yeah, first it'll be a really fun game. I think out-of-state games are cool when you see them across scoreboards and stuff, and I think our kids will enjoy it. It'll be good for us. But as far as Hillcrest is concerned, they're really athletic. Their running back is really good. He's really quick, can make you miss in the open field, really fast, and they're big and athletic across the board. So. The main thing for us is just to get better from last week, to talk about the mistakes and kind of the sloppiness we had, too many missed assignments. So we're looking forward for this week to be more about us than really what's on the other side of the ball.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. A good test and a good little measurement. I know some of the other schools, I know MacArthur in the past, they've gone to Arkansas before. They've gone to a little bit of Texas right out of Lubbock. So not really foreign, but you don't see it so often, but we kind of understand the situations, and, you make the best of it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some players on the mic then. So first one, you grab the microphone, give us your name, your position, and what grade you're in.
Josh Adesola. I play corner and receiver, and I'm a senior.
Yep, so another Adesola. So what kind of competition is there in the household with your brother who graduated? Does he kind of rib you or give you any advice for coming into this year?
He really just he pushes me to even be better than what he was. So
it's pretty good shoes to fill, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
So I didn't know what it's like to, I have 2 sons and what brothers, and do you kind of, has this been something you kind of did in the backyard, throwing to each other and wrestling and doing everything that brothers do?
Yeah, here and there we go to the field and just throw some balls.
Yeah. So what did you want to come into this year? If your brother has inspired you to get better, I always ask most of our athletes, how did you want to come in to improve on your game?
Just every aspect I can. Be faster, quicker to breaks, and catch the ball better.
What was it like last week, the atmosphere, coming to Lawton? You've had that MacArthur game a couple of years already in the matchups, but, what did you take away from that?
It's very exciting and got us ready for the next week's coming.
Yeah, and then and what's it going to be like playing a Texas school coming up from Dallas? I know there's probably a little bit of talk with that. What's that going to look like for Friday?
It's good to see where we stand with other states.
So. What's your favorite food?
Chicken and rice.
All right, and where's the best place to get it?
My mom.
That's always a loaded question. I always get the same answer. That's all right. Okay, pass the mic right down. Give us your name, position, and what grade you're in.
Gabriel Rush, class of 2025 DB.
All right, so senior season, how excited it is to get this season started?
Oh, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this moment for my entire life.
Well, I know, and the seniors have seen. They're if you go back historically from your freshman year and getting to where you were, and I'll tell you what, you guys had kind of adversity as far as where you guys were put. You know, you're a 4A school. Okay, now you're a 5A school. Going to play that for a couple of years. Oh, and by the way, you're going to go back down to 4A. So what's that going to be like to, you know, you have as a senior's perspective, you've seen some of these teams before. You know, you've seen a Clinton, you've seen an Elk City. And so how is it going to be when you get into that 4A schedule?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter the division to us. I feel like any team we play, we'll just play them to the best of our ability.
All right. Well, you got a lot of I guess the bar has been raised. You know, before we always talked about with Coach Chalmer is that, you know, you were a surprise to everybody a couple of years ago. Now you're not a surprise and everybody sees you coming. So in the 4A position will be that as well. What do you see yourself doing after school, after graduation?
I'm trying to go to college. I don't really know where about, but I'm going to try to get me a good job, good major under my belt, and then I'm trying to go into, like, bowling for different sports if I want to branch out.
Okay. You said bowling, right? What is your handicap? What kind of
my handicap.
What is your average?
It's like 220, 221.
Wow, that's pretty good. How many perfect games have you had?
I've gotten close. I got none.
None.
I'm getting up there.
You missed it by one pin, right?
Yeah.
It can happen. It can happen, but they're fun when you have it. All right, the Elgin Owls. Hillcrest is on the slate. That is going to be at 6:30 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. Thank you, Coach Chalmer Wyatt. Thanks for the players coming in for the Elgin Owls. We're going to take a break. We've got the Cash Bulldogs, the Lawton High Wolverines, Eisenhower, and hopefully have Walters all in the mix. And we'll continue on with our Coaches Show right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Are you looking for more than just a job? Barres Foods in Lawton offers a career with a competitive starting wage, opportunity for advancement, life and health insurance, including medical, dental, and vision, as well as 401k retirement plan. At Barres, you can be proud of a company that gives back to the community. But most of all, you can take pride from making a quality product. Barres Foods, making the best tasting hot dogs and smoked sausages, the food America likes to eat. So come be a part of a winning team and start your path to success today.
Goodbye, paperwork. Hello, convenience. Farewell, waiting. Hello, personal service. Catch you later, dreaming. Hello, planning. Buy your dream home, connect with a personal banker, and easily schedule an appointment with digital tools from Arvest Bank. Goodbye limits, hello possibilities.
All right, LeGrand Cantina, and that's where we are and where you need to be each and every Tuesday here at 6 p.m., where we're going to talk with our 6 area schools. And I'm so thankful that coaches and players come and join us each and every Tuesday, talk about their programs, talk about the excitement. We had over 1,700 watch on Facebook last week, so we know there's a lot of interest when it comes to high school football. Make sure you download our apps. We're on Apple and Android devices. Easy to download. It's free to watch. It's free to download. Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV for your home devices. And then join us on all of our social media platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok and to YouTube. You can find us on the YouTube channel and subscribe there. So, Coach, I think maybe you've answered the question of who the Lawton High Wolverines are. You made an instant classic out of Friday. I know it didn't come out the way you wanted. You had the ball in your hands at the last drive. Unfortunately, an interception ended it, but this was back and forth, and people were all texting me and going back, and the excitement that you brought to both fan bases brought this game back to what it was hyped up to be.
Right.
But coming away from that, emotion aside, fan base aside, what did you learn for your team that instead of a scrimmage, you got 4 quarters to break down? What did you find out about this team for this year?
Well, I mean, I told y'all before we came up here to talk last time, Javon had set me up. He knew what he was doing.
I'll get him on zero week. I'll get him on there.
No. Hey, I got to get my hands off to those guys. They played a great game, man. It was definitely a classic. You know, I've been on both sides of those before. I've been been the down guy coming back and winning. I've been up a bunch. I've been, on the other side of it a couple times too. So whenever you got rivalry games, man, you're throwing all the rules out the window. Nothing counts. It's just whoever I told you, whoever going to make the least amount of mistakes is going to win it. You know what I mean? We made a lot of mistakes, and that's why we didn't win it. So, but those guys play a great game, man. I mean, I feel like that. Hopefully, me and Coach Harris kind of getting a little friendship going here, because that dude did a really, really good job. His kids did a great job, and they really play well. As far as we go, we got to learn how to win a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially in the tough quarters, we got to be able to tackle well in the fourth quarter. We got to make less mistakes on offense in the fourth quarter, and that's just coming from experience and guys being able to do it over and over again and doing it right. So we got a lot of work to do, but I mean, like I told the guys after the game, I was super proud of them. We actually played really well. We put 8 kids on the field that never played football before. So for those guys to be able to go out and play at the level they did, and they made some mistakes, but things to be expected. Now the challenge is how much better can we get next week, and how much better can we get the week after that, and so on and so forth.
Now, you also mentioned that this was basketball on grass, and that's what you said you're going to get the ball around.
That wasn't the truth. I was just trying to throw Javon.
Oh, okay, okay. I just didn't know if that lived up to your expectation.
We running the ball, G. We running it. No, we kind of sold him a dream a little bit. He didn't buy it.
Okay, all right. There's a little bit of showmanship.
I'll try again next year. We'll see. We try next year.
I don't think he's going to take the bait next time.
No, not at all.
Okay, so kind of a short week. You're on a Thursday at home again. So let's talk a little bit about your breakdown of what, now you've seen your team, what you're up against for this week.
Well, Enid is big. They've always been a really big team. Coaching where I was coaching there before the previous 8 years, we played Enid every year. When Rashawn Woods was there, he kind of really got it going. And Coach Connor's kind of keeping it going. He's doing a good job with those guys. And they kind of, the stuff that Rashawn kind of put in place, Coach Connor's adding his own flavor to it and keeping it going. You see a couple things out of those guys that are really special. Some receivers that are real special as far as the way they get open. They're not super fast. We don't got to play Sari again. He's the guy. We'll never see nobody that fast again. Jesus, I'm looking right at you. Yeah. Okay, but those guys, they pretty decently quick. But more than anything, they're just really good route runners. They know how to get open in space. The quarterback knows how to deliver the ball to space. So that's going to be a challenge for us this week. They got a big offensive line. They got a big defensive line. They got big linebackers. It's really big. They grew them kind of big up there in Enid, so so we got to take advantage of our speed a little bit and get things moving side to side a little bit, and hopefully have a chance to get them.
All right, and how would you like? I know every coach does. Well, I want to clean up our game, but how do you want to? This is the best time in these first 3 games, and they have some inner city stuff that kind of takes away from it. But how would you want to improve to get better before you get into district play?
Really, so listen, we had an astronomical amount of mental errors, like more than I've ever had before in my life of coaching football. So, if we can just cut that in half, we got a shot. You know what I mean? So I want to cut it in half on the mental errors. Some people might think we're really tricky when you're seeing 2 pullers pull and run into each other. I promise you we did not do that
practice
on purpose.
That.
Yeah, wasn't practice. So,
right.
But if we can get our mental errors cut in half, take care of the football a little bit better. We did a good job getting takeaways. We decently job. With a guy who's never played quarterback before, never been on the football field in high school, to go out there and, had a couple of mistakes, but those are things that, that we can fix pretty easily, and he's doing a good job of that. So just fixing a couple of those things, some of the special teams errors, when I tell my kicker, don't kick the 10, over and over again, that's not a game, I kick it out of bounds. I don't care, but just don't let 10 get it.
Right.
So hopefully this week when I say don't kick it to 2 or 17, we can do that. You know what I mean? We can somebody
wherever
else,
he is lined up, we're not going there with the ball. That's right.
So it's just like I said, it's a lot of small things. It's a bunch of them though. It's a whole lot of small things. But if we can cut those mistakes down in half and then cut them in half again next week, and we get to that game and then get a bye week to work on cutting them in half again, then we get into district play and we getting our mental errors down under 20 a game, and we working toward that.
I'm going to ask you, because you're kind of the new guy on the block, you're the new coach, but the compliment for the Lawton schools, and I have to do the graphics for the starting lineups for all 3 of the schools in Lawton. And as I was doing that, I noticed, and you had mentioned it, there's not a lot that are going both ways. There's only a few if you want to be able to do that.
Right.
So Eisenhower's in that position, only a few guys. MacArthur in the position, only a few guys, and the same thing with you. Has that worked out? Because you're going to test it out and say, you know what, if we don't have to, unless you can move the needle, I'm going to use your words, move the needle, then we're going to have you play both sides. But if not, we've got a solution. How has that worked out for you, having platooning almost a complete offense and defense?
I think it's going great. I mean, I think that we definitely got to learn a little bit about some guys. People we might need to move around a little bit, and guys that played well above what we thought they was going to, so they're going to be fine type deal. But the opportunity was there for those guys to make plays. For the most part, I think we did a good job about that. There's a couple things, like I said, that we just got to learn how to do things when we're tired. My coach used to tell me all the time, you can get tired, but you can't play tired. So, no matter what, even if you barely breathing, you got to put your hand in the dirt and go at it. You know what I mean? So, that's where the depth part now that the people behind those guys is kind of where we need to get better at next. So that's what our next big, we'll say task would be, is to who can we put in when those guys are tired, when they tapping out, who can we put in, who can we sub in? Is it a two-way guy then, or is there somebody else that we haven't found yet? We found a couple guys on Friday, so that was good.
That's good. Always a good thing. Lorenzo Williams, head coach of Lawton High Wolverines. We'll talk to our players. The first one, grab your mic. And as we have you introduce yourself, give us your name, your age, your name, your grade, and what position.
My name is Amari Perry, class of 2025. I play inside linebacker and outside linebacker.
Okay, so, that's the meat of things. That's where all things happen. What was that game like Friday when it was going so much back and forth in that game?
Just a lot of running.
a lot of run. Do you think that Coach got you in shape for conditioning to do that?
He got us all in shape. We just had to. We was there. I just had to wrap my feet, wrap the hamstrings and run my feet. That's one thing I didn't do. Try to tackle high a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get low man wins, as they say in football. So you can preach that and coach that, but then doing it is a different thing. How exciting was it to start this season, to get it started, especially with the Eisenhower game as week one and not buried in the season somewhere?
It was fun, exciting. You couldn't wait to play.
We're going to get a little in between because you got Enid to play at 6A school, and then you'll come back to finish out with MacArthur. But what did you want to come in to get better as a senior this year?
Probably
get that microphone a little bit closer. Here.
Probably just like learning the plays and watching film a lot. Get better at tackling, like I said, and get better in shape a little bit because I was tired out there a little bit.
Yeah, you will be when you're chasing. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, I'll say tacos.
Tacos, all right. And what do you like to do when you're not playing football? Give us some of your hobbies.
Play the game.
That's a good hobby.
New hobby.
New hobby.
Yeah.
Man.
Play the game. That's all I do is play the game.
That and I've heard sleep. That's another one.
Sleep?
Just go home and sleep.
I like
Yeah, you like to do that. That's good. All right, let's get the mic down at the end. Give us your name, position, and what grade.
My name is Nathan Hazipta, and I'm a quarterback, and I'm class of 2025.
Brand new quarterback. In fact, not really played at all or played much.
The last time I played quarterback was 8th grade.
8th grade. Wow. So hats off to a coach that could recruit you out of the hallways to get you there. But not only that, but it wasn't just on the team. Yeah. We're talking about taking snaps at quarterback. What kind of pressure did you feel?
It was like I experienced those feelings before, but to have it on a high school level was something different for me, man.
Yeah, from 8th grade, yeah, I could say. Now, you're a basketball player?
No,
baseball.
I'm a
baseball player.
Yeah.
Okay, now what position you play in baseball?
I'm pitcher, catcher, and shortstop.
Okay, so you know how to zip that ball, control that ball, and all the rest of that stuff. What's it like to have the surrounding cast around you? You got a lot of basketball players. You got Panay.
Yeah, I really like how our team is looking and stuff. We recruited all new players and stuff. We got basketball, baseball, track, all types of players coming out and stuff, and just building that brotherhood together and really starting to learn football together and stuff and loving the sport together. That's when
Is Coach making it easier for you? I mean, to learn this? Because you talked about maybe using, and maybe he doesn't use baseball methodology, but sometimes basketball methodology for people to understand.
I do for him.
Oh, you do a little bit of baseball stuff for him. Okay.
Hey, turn two.
Turn two.
There you go.
Yeah.
Turn that two.
I like that. All right, and so this is kind of a fun run of the season. Talk a little bit about that atmosphere that everybody talks about. Reunions are scheduled around it. This hadn't been a week one game in a long time, or a week 0 week for the first one between you two. But I know you don't have high school experience with it. But coming out to that kind of crowd on both sides, what was that like on Friday night?
I really liked it. It was intense. It was fun. Guys flying around, popping. It was just a fun experience and stuff. But at our end, I feel like we do got to do better and stuff. We got to make the mistakes, cut them down, But overall, I really liked it. It was a fun experience for me as quarterback.
I'm gonna put the pressure on what coaches do now. There's stuff that you all do in film work, But to be an effective quarterback, you're going to have to do extra credit on your own against defenses with film, and that's on your own. That's not team film. So have you adapted to understanding that breaking down that film is important?
I after practice, me and Coach Zoe, we'll sit down and stuff, or he'll teach me how to watch film, making sure I'm looking at the right guys.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm making right reads and stuff, what I'm doing in this situation and this situation. So I'm really starting to learn how to read film now, starting to really learn football and stuff.
Well, he's already got that, and I know that nickname, preceded us. He had Coach Zoe, but everybody's calling him that now. So we're going to have to get a jersey with Coach Zoe on the back.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right, Lawton High Wolverines, they're going to be against Enid on Thursday, 6:30 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. We still have the Walters Blue Devils, we have the Cash Bulldogs in the house, and the Eisenhower Eagles. So halfway through, we've got 3 in the books. We got 3 to go, and we'll be back with more right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Landmarks. They stand as symbols, reminding us of history and moments that shape our lives. We create our own landmarks. At Becker Raybon Funeral Home, we understand the importance of honoring these moments. Let our compassionate team help you celebrate the life and legacy of your loved one. Offering a range of services to honor the stories that matter most, we believe that every life leaves a mark that deserves to be cherished and remembered. Becker Raybon Funeral Home, honoring the landmarks of your life.
Well, we have so much fun here at the Coaches Show. We want you to join us each and every Tuesday here at LeGrand Cantina inside the mall, whether you're getting chili rellenos or anything off their authentic menu, or they even have the modern side. So if you want to know the difference, come taste the difference at LeGrand Cantina here in the mall. Thanks to all of our coaches and players who join us each and every Tuesday. And there's room for you in our back room as well. And so we've got new to our program because last week we had some other conflicts of scheduling, and that's how it is this time of the year. The Cash Bulldogs and Tanner Thompson, we're going to welcome you into the show and welcome you as new head coach, but not introducing you to the Cash Bulldog family. You were a Bulldog, so once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. And so talk a little bit about taking that role on and what you found out about this team in the first 2 scrimmages that you've had.
Well, since I've been there I was the DC under Coach Griffin for 7 years and, taking over this year. So I kind of knew the players we had coming up and the seniors and the juniors that were going to be able to lead our program. And so once we got started, it just showed, the type of people we had in our team, especially in our leadership. And we got started, and the energy, the atmosphere, it was high with the coaches. And so just going into it, I was super excited. And, just what we've seen is guys like Camden and Christian grow into leadership roles and really take on that role and take over our offense, and Christian taking over our defense and doing some really good things, and other people just joining in and just being all together and on it.
Now, being a DC and then coming to a head coach, how much did you have to relieve yourself of really controlling that DC? Because now you're the head coach, you got a little bit of offense and defense, and you can't be both ways. I know that Oklahoma had to do that for a little bit when you have a defensive-minded coach who's over here during the game. But how did you have to adapt through those kind of changes, and hand the reins over to someone else a little bit for defense, and then learning a little bit more of the offense?
Right. Well, I was extremely lucky because, we got to keep Eric Gibson, and, he was on our staff last year and did a great job for us, man. I played for him in college. He's my defense coordinator.
Awesome.
And, we just promoted him as DC, and he's made stepping into the head job so easy because, I've given him the reins on defense, and he's taken over and done a great job. And, I've given Landon Abbott the reins on offense, and coming in as a new head coach, I really needed that because, there's so much things behind the scenes that you don't really understand going in and being a head coach. that you just have to do, all the behind-the-scenes organizing and planning things and making sure we're good in different aspects and ordering and making sure we have agendas and itineraries and all that. So, I mean, it's really helped me out, and I've leaned on our staff quite a bit.
Well, I know a lot of head coaches will say that, they're only as good as their coordinators. And to have a great supporting cast as opposed to not having a cast at all, it does make the world a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so coming into this first game matchup, you are, unlike what we were talking about jokingly, that of the 12 schools, 9 of them were in action last week. They've already got their taste of football. 3 of them did not. You are one of the 3. Carl Albert is the other, and Walters was the third. So 3 of you have not really kicked off and played a game yet. So what did you see from your game film for your scrimmages and then your opponent to start and kick off this week?
Yeah, with our scrimmages, I think we won our first scrimmage with Lone Grove, and we had just a great atmosphere and energy, and I think we did some really good things on both sides of the ball. And then we went to Plainview and faced a really tough Plainview team, and, they showed us some things that we needed to fix. It's some things on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball, taking care of the ball, and fixing things in our secondary and making sure we're good to go for week 1. And then, with looking at Duncan this week, I mean, they got Duncan has some really good athletes. As me being a track coach, I've seen that quarterback run on track, and it's impressive. So trying to contain him is going to be really, really tough. And so they have some receivers on the edge and a really good running back and some really good, strong, athletic defensive interior linemen that we're going to have to handle. And, I mean, it's going to be a tough task.
And then last, you're taking the role of taking those phone calls. You got to deal with parents. You got to deal with fans. When you're a coordinator, you walk over and you say, hey, you point to that guy right there. Now you're that guy. Are you accepting that role a little bit more now?
Yes, reluctantly sometimes.
You still want to stand by the, hey, can someone else spell me out for this? Okay, Let's go down the line here. Let's grab the microphone and give us your name and your position and what grade.
My name is Cannon Hance. I'm class of 2025, and I'm a quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback there. A lot of does that seem a lot of pressure to come on when you fill in those roles in at quarterback, or is it you kind of eased into it?
I mean, I feel the pressure sometimes, literally sometimes, and figuratively. But I feel like I've gotten better with it.
How did you want to come into a season to get the best out of your game? If there was something that you looked at to improve on, what would it be?
Probably just throwing the ball around, making my passes better, having more velocity, and reading the defenses better.
Do you like to throw to a spot, when you get that repetitions, or do you like to have people underneath you where you can actually give someone to throw to?
I'll just throw anywhere.
That's good. Well, I remember it was leading up to, and this is, I'm going to date myself, and you're going to say, well, that's ancient history. But when the Sooners won their national championship in 2000, I watched a lot of spring stuff, and I remember Josh Heupel he had a big, 50-gallon waste basket over there in the corner of the end zone, and he was just airdropping them there just to hit that spot, because he knows he could trust that there was going to be one day a receiver underneath that. So whether it's the old tire swing or the old buckets, but yeah, I like the answer that you want to throw, and you like. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza.
Pizza, and where do you get the best pizza
at? My favorite right now is Firo.
Really? Okay, now that's the order your own, make your own. So what do you tell them that you want on it when you go through the line?
Just pepperoni.
Oh, just pepperoni. Double, triple, and whatever else you can get, huh?
Yeah.
All right. And is there a game on the slate of the season that excites you more than any as far as anticipating? I mean, I know it's always the next game. That's a coach's answer. But, a player's answer is going to be a little different. There's a reason why. Is there one on the schedule that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Elgin.
All right, Elgin. That's the last game of the season. So that finishes it all up in 4A. Boy, you've asked for something, but, hey, you take on it in order to be the best. You got to beat the best, right? All right, Let's pass down the microphone and give us your name, position, and what grade.
My name is Christian Bennett, class of 2025, slot receiver and outside linebacker.
Senior, excited to start this senior season?
Absolutely.
All right. I mean, was it kind of different not playing football last week? I mean, across the network, there was a lot of games. Did you go see any games or did you watch any games?
No, sir.
high school?
Well, I watched the rest of Mac versus Elgin on the way back from our.
Your scrimmage. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's great for the network. I like that little plug. You didn't even have to plug us. I like that. Yeah, you can see that. I get answers like that for like the end of the season, and they're wanting to see playoffs, and their game is over. They're always just zipping right in there. So, how did you want to get better coming into this season?
Definitely my leadership roles. Controlling my emotions on and off the field.
Okay, so a leader can be defined in one of two ways. Either you are a vocal leader or you're a lead by example. Which one would you say best fits you?
Example.
Example. Okay, so you're not really that much of a talker.
Not until this year.
You got someone that, not until this year.
Yes, sir.
You stepped up and are a little bit more vocal?
Yes, sir. We stepped up our energy. It's a big thing now. And
Jersey, that he's come from Cash and he knows what that's like.
Definitely relatable because everything that he talks about, he's done himself. So it puts more back into his word.
All right, so your quarterback is anxious for last game of the season. Is there a game that you've circled out that you like?
Absolutely. It's Elgin.
Okay, all right. So they call it the Battle of the Wichitas. They don't call it that for nothing, That's come down to, I remember a game where it came down to a 2-point conversion. I mean, so it's crazy. You get like Lawton High and Eisenhower. That was an instant classic, so that was good. Well, good luck to you guys, and good to see you on film for the first time because you didn't have that first 0-week experience. So good luck this week with Duncan, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach Tanner Thompson of the Cash Bulldogs. We've got more in the house. Eisenhower Eagles and the Walters Blue Devils. So don't you go anywhere. We're at La Grande Cantina in the mall. We'll be back right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Memorial Medical Group's orthopedic specialists are the most experienced team in Southwest Oklahoma. Our orthopedic surgeons are trained to diagnose and treat shoulder, knee, hip, hand, and foot conditions, as well as orthopedic trauma, sports, or work-related injuries. And they're the only ones in the area to offer Mako robotic-assisted surgery for knee and hip replacement. When you need bone and joint help, trust MMG Orthopedics to get you back to living your best life.
One steps in, the other one steps right back out, and then it loads up the table. And we have 6 schools each and every Tuesday at the La Grande Cantina. We'd like to see you here in the mall. Come and check us out. We're here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock with 6 schools, all 3 Lawton schools, Cash, Elgin, and Walters. And we've got the Eisenhower Eagles. And as I talked to Lorenzo, Coach Lorenzo Williams of the Lawton High Wolverines, he thought, he said, well, you knew what you were doing when he said, let's go with that week 0 game. But he's the new guy in town. But I got to say, because I was there for the entire time, because the game I was committed to was already Thursday, and so that freed me up. And I love to watch this game because of the history and the tradition it does. But we'll call it what it is, almost an instant classic. It was back and forth, roller coaster of emotions. I know you probably don't like, hey, let's get a lead. Let's keep the lead, Let's not give them the ball back so they could come down and try to score and ruin it for us. And the interception kind of, solidified that. But it was that kind of drama in and out, back and forth. But how would you describe that game?
Oh, man, it was fun.
It was when you got the W, too, yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, Devin. I mean, it was, first off, hats off to Lawton High, a bunch of respect for Coach Williams. Those guys came out there, they were ready to play, they were prepared for the game. And hats off to our guys as well. They prepared that week. It was a big week for us. I think the big thing about rivalry games is the outside factors. You're going to get the crowd. You're going to get the lead up to the game.
All the talk,
so to stay focused and remain focused throughout the week and stay with the game plan. I thought that was big for us, man. And really shout out to my coaches. I thought that was big because in the past when we've been in those type of games and in those type of situations, you could feel within the staff and the players kind of that intensity that, are we here? We're going to make the right calls, things like that. And everybody stayed calm. Everybody stayed within the game plan, and it came out in the end, and we, executed.
Well, I know as coaches say, when we learn something, we put it in the rearview mirror, we celebrate for one day, and then that's it. It's back to work.
Yes, sir.
And you go right into that mix because, you got to get prepared for the 6A2 that you're now in.
Yes, sir.
But before you get there, you have non-district games. You had the one city rival, and now you have the next. So the MacArthur Highlanders, and they had to take on a tough Elgin team. We already talked to them and both of their programs. So what did you see on film that you have to be prepared for MacArthur for this weekend? Your old alma mater, might I add.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, the first thing, when you look back and you evaluate, you go back and look at what you can clean up yourself. And we got to win third down. We got to get off the field on third down on defense, and on offense we got to win third down. And that was something that was very glaring from the last game. So, that's what you focus on. And so we took there, and also the discipline as far as not getting as many flags. And those are things that go within the game. So we went in and fixed those things first. That's what we, focused on. Now you start talking about MacArthur. And that's just a team that, perennial winning team, the playoff team that make the playoffs almost every year. So, you got to respect that and know that they're going to come into this city rivalry game with that chip on their shoulder. So for us, man, we're going to go out there and do what we do, focus on us, be the best version of ourselves, but, also respect what MacArthur does.
Well, how many alum did you hear from after the game, with such and such from graduate, and, you had 2 years in a row that you beat Lawton High. Wow, that's turned some heads,
Yes, sir.
And instead of, Coach, what do we need to do to beat these guys? How many did you hear from? A lot of reunions, a lot of stuff going on.
Lots of reunions. I think that 04 class is just – right above me being in high school, so I know some of those guys. And,
right.
Matter of fact, you start kind of reaching back towards the DJ Wolf guys.
Yes,
stuff like that. So, man,
former Sooners, yeah.
So you got a bunch of guys that hit me up and congratulate us as a team. Just basically, telling us to stay on it. So that's what we got to do. Figure out a way to keep working, and now we got to go break this streak of 14 years.
Oh, I hate these streaks that are on there. And Coach Manning was talking about this. We went with the Gary McKnight play, and I wish we'd have that on film. We weren't streaming back then, but I remember as it was yesterday, and it was last-minute Hail Mary throwing up there, and it was only seconds on the clock, and he comes down with it, and the Eisenhower defenders collided into each other, and so they knocked each other out like bowling pins.
Yep.
And he was standing there left alone, and he just skated off to a touchdown. So you remember those things. And,
right.
and Coach says, I think there was like 7 games in a row that was decided within a touchdown or less in that stretch. So
yes, sir.
there was a lot of back and forth between. Maybe we will reignite that again with Eisenhower and MacArthur. Let's get to our players. Give us your name and your position and what grade you're in.
Sari Sheridan, 2025.
Now, let's not get too much of a big head where you can't walk out that door with what Coach Lorenzo Williams talked about. Don't kick it to number 10. Now let's say number 10. You got number 1 right next to you, too, that has something to say about it because he went out with injury. But I'm gonna come back just a little bit with you because you were one of our nominees for OSN Newcomer of the Year, and you really made a statement. And I think you were really humbled by it. I really appreciated that. You basically said that last year no one knew about you, no one had any expectations out of you, and you may have not even expected it yourself.
Yes,
and then all of a sudden this ability and this it just shined. Number 10 was all over the place, catching touchdowns and doing stuff. So how do you take on that role coming in this year with the successes you've seen last year to let that keep rolling into this year?
I'll say it's different. Because now people are looking up to me and depending on me. They make plays now, so it's kind of a little bit of pressure, but I know I can handle it. And
now you play both sides of the ball, so which one do you prefer?
It don't really matter to me. I'll play both sides. I just want to win games, and
Yeah.
be in the best
Well, what's it
position.
like to, of course, it's a thrill, but, to beat Lawton High like that? I mean, that's the bragging rights throughout the city between those two. And there's been a lot of friendships. Back when this man played, you didn't cross boundaries. You didn't date anybody from over there.
Yes.
You weren't friends with any over there. Now that's kind of loosened up a little bit, but there's still that rivalry. So it's got to feel good that you beat that, and you've got the second one, and now this opportunity with you beating Lawton High, this could give you a city championship. And Coach talked about a streak to be broken. What does that game mean to you for this week on Friday?
I think we're a different team this year, so I just want to get up out the way. I'm glad it's 1 and 2 back to back, so we ain't gotta wait.
Yeah, you don't have anything in between. Yeah, I got you. Kind of Lawton High's got that kind of situation. So, and then talk a little bit about after graduation. What do you see yourself doing in the future?
I'm gonna go to college and play football for sure.
Okay.
And
career-wise, do you see yourself doing anything particular?
I think I'm a major in business, and I'm gonna see where that goes.
Okay. Let's get to your young man next to you. Give us your name and your position and what grade you're in.
Rashad Hurt. My bad. Rashad Hurt, 2025, and I play RB.
Yeah, and that running back position, we saw a little bit of you in the MacArthur game last year, and then unfortunately you had an injury that kind of ended it. And talk about your rehab, getting back to where you are in that starting role where you left off, and how hard was it to sit back and watch football last year?
It was really hard. I ain't
Yeah, well, I would be too. I mean, taken out of that, but you rehab pretty good. Coach was giving a progress report when I would ask about how well you were, and you were on track with everything, and so it kind of worked out in your favor in that way. So how did you want to get better at running back from the time that before you got injured to coming into this season? How did you want to have this season look, and what did you want to do to get better?
Learning how to protect myself, not always taking a hit.
Yeah.
Coach tell me that. I got to learn how to protect myself in the field because you never know what can happen.
Well, that's true. I mean, and they don't even have to be contact stuff. There is ACLs that are non-contact kind of things. Is there, this is another hyped up game that you've got. You had 2 back-to-backs. What is this? That one, of course, means a lot, but this one has a different meaning because of the streak that Coach mentioned, and then a city championship on the line. How does that hype you up for this week?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like an emotional game, not gonna lie, just like how Lawton High was.
Yeah.
But
now, is a crowd, and I've asked some like between MacArthur and Elgin and some of the Lawton High players, is it more of a hype that gets you up, or is it more of a distraction that you got to put out of your mind when the crowds are getting the way they are?
Sometimes it could be a distraction, but I just put that all in the back of my head and just play.
Just play the game. Yeah, all right. And what's your favorite food?
Whatever my mom cooks.
That's a good answer. Hopefully she's watching. Okay, and then what are some of your hobbies when you're not playing football? What do you like to do?
My whole life revolves around football. Just either watching film or sleep.
Okay, you know what? You are not the only person that I've heard that is their hobby. Watching football and sleep, So that's a good hobby to have. Coach would like to hear that. It's both. You need rest and you need to watch that film. So good luck on Friday. It's going to be an exciting one. I'll be up in the booth helping to call that game, and so I can't wait to see you both. You guys are exceptional athletes, and you're fun to watch, and he was too. And I'm old enough to say that because I was old enough to watch him, and now I'm watching you. Boy, is that dating me. But, I mean, it is incredible. And, and hopefully you guys will go on to do better things. But, when I can say, I saw Jamal Brown and Antonio Perkins and Aso Pogai and all of these guys that went on to play collegiately, some that went in the pro ranks, I mean, it's just – and that's what high school football is all about. It's for the fun of it, the excitement of it, and you guys really capture that. So good luck to you on Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, so Eisenhower in the house, and we're going to finish up with the Walters Blue Devils. First time we get to talk to them, and first time they're going to be able to kick off, and they're going to come up next, and they brought a house. They must have brought the team, or at least half the team, here, and we're going to have to get them on camera because you're not going to believe me when I say it. But they're up next to finish out our coaches show right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
is uniquely Oklahoman, deeply rooted in over 50 communities statewide. From those roots, our investment in education springs forth, helping to raise the Oklahoma leaders of tomorrow while providing financial strength to the business leaders of today. That's the kind of loyalty that helps entire communities thrive. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Well, you almost wouldn't believe that we have 6 schools in the network that we actually host each and every Tuesday, and we've made the whole circuit, and we're going to finish out with the Walters Blue Devils with Coach Farron Griffin. And, in fact, look at the crowd behind us like that. You brought the team.
Most of them, yes, we did.
You did. You're always showing up. I like that. It's community-based. I love the Walters Blue Devils football at home games. If you've never been to a home game at Walters, what I like about it is that it's so comfortable as of an atmosphere that you can go in the back gate if you have a designed parking space, because that fills up fast. They'll come in like it's a drive-in movie, and they'll all park their cars at the end of the end zone. They'll put out their blankets, and they're ready to watch football. Some of them go in the stands. Some of them go out there. But I love that atmosphere, and that's what Oklahoma high school football is all about. So hats off to you guys. Thank you guys for making the trip. That's really good. Farron, happy belated birthday. I know that we joked about it on last week's show because your wife, the football, she's not a football widow because she comes to you with all this. My wife is a true widow. She'll stay at home and she's there and I'm there. But your wife, she goes where you go, and there's always a picture. Well, guess where we're at for this birthday now? So where did you go on your birthday?
Well, we had us a long road trip last week.
Okay.
We went to watch Hinton and Minco, and Vite Magazine said the game was at Hinton. So we went and ate at El Reno, and we drove to Hinton, and we got there, and there was not a soul there. So I figured the game was in Minco, so then we made a mad dash to Minco, and I got there with about 2 minutes left in the first half, so we got to watch the rest of the ball game. So we spent a lot of quality time on my birthday alone driving in the cars.
There you go. She planned that by design. She called the Vite people and said, no, okay, so, I jokingly said, this 0-week game, you might as well just call week 1 because of 12 schools, 9 of them were playing last week. You were one of the 3 that was not. We had Walters, we had Cash, and we had Carl Albert. Those are the only 3 on the network that did not play. You got a couple of scrimmages in, like most of them have one scrimmage and then they got to play for real. So what did you take away from seeing your team in the scrimmages that you had going forward, what you need to do and what you saw from that?
Well, I was really excited when the scrimmages were over. The first week we felt like we kind of went out and dominated all the teams that were there. A lot of mistakes were made, but we knew that they were fixable. Last week we had Davis coming to town, and I was pretty nervous about that because my last time I was at Walters, 2 of the times that I'd made the playoffs, Davis is the one that bounced us out of the playoffs.
Little history
and
there.
went on to win the state championship. And that morning I talked to Frederick's coach. Coach Tyler and I are pretty good friends, and he said, Davis, they're loaded to win it all again in 2A. So I was kind of nervous about them coming in, but our guys handled themselves really well. Our varsity scored once, and they didn't score at all. So we walked away from there feeling pretty good about ourselves. Obviously, we made a lot of mistakes and a lot of things to clean up, but I feel like our progress from our first scrimmage week to last Thursday was great. We made a lot of progress, and even being out there today and watching practice, I can just see the progress that we're making. And, it's like I told our young men, you don't want to be playing your best football right now. You want to be playing at week 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, I think that if we get better each and every week and we're going to do a lot of good things this year.
Now, coming from the coach's perspective, and I've heard you say this last week, and now this is kind of a continuation. This defense, how special is it? Because you talk about stopping these kind of teams and not scoring. That's a pretty good defense.
Well, I was telling my wife today, as we were coming over here, one of the things you can't do is pour aggressions into kids. And, there was a point today where we almost got one of our starters injured just because of how physical we were out there practicing. And so I had to pull the reins back a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So when you
Don't do that here.
Yeah, when you got
Save
kids that have that kind of courage and they're willing to fly around and hit and enjoy the game like that, yeah, you're going to have good defenses. And they bought into everything we've done. We've changed some of the things that we've done defensively from what they're used to as far as adjustments and adjusting to formations. And, man, they've just bought into that so great, and it's showing up in the scrimmages. And it's just I told my wife that I'm actually having fun coaching again. It's just exciting to get up and go to work every day again.
That's good. Well, and Helton is your first opponent. That's a coach's son that had a connection to Walters, from the coach that just departed. They're also going to be one of our schools in the network next year. They already wanted to be on the network this year, and we just talked briefly, and I just said, in order to do it, we got to do it right, so we're going to have to postpone that. But they're going to be welcome next year, part of that. But what do you know outside of those little history-making things about your first opponent with Hilton this week?
Well, they had two pretty good scrimmages. They did a lot of great things against Comanche, and they drove the ball pretty well against Rush Springs at times. So, we're going to have to prepare and we're going to have to play well to have success against them. I've told our team all week to take any opponent lightly is a big mistake, but especially Hilton this week. So we've got to prepare each week as if we're playing the state champions, and that needs to be our attitude and our mentality.
Okay, now, before we get to our players here, which one's Seabass?
Sebastian.
Okay, all right. He was called out, and I said, I got to know who that is. Okay, now we've established it. All right.
Well, it's short for Sebastian.
Okay.
I wanted to say something. You was talking about you being up here old.
Yes.
And I was thinking when I walked in here and was shaking hands with everybody, do you realize other than Lorenzo, every coach that was in here, I've either coached or coached against when they were playing?
I understand.
When
I bring names up, they're going to, these people said, I have no clue
I
who you're
coached
talking about.
Javon, and I coached Brett Manning, and, I coached against Chalmer.
I understand.
And against Tanner. So, I used to be the young guy, and now I'm the old man in the house. So.
Welcome. Yeah, at least I won't be alone, We'll be in that way. Okay, so let's grab the mic. Give us your name, your position, and what grade you're in.
I'm Camden LaPierre, and I'm class of 2025, and I'm a quarterback.
Quarterback, all right. So, taking the reins for this, and a little bit of a new adjustment, but this time, and this coach, when he first came, and this is history again, so you won't know this, were they 0-30, something like that, when you first took over that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was that kind of okay, now he's coming in with little playoff taste, little run last year that we were excited. You were our newest school on the block, and you guys really made it. So, that bar of expectation rose a little bit. How are you guys shouldering that to make sure that, hey, we're a playoff bound and we're going to go a little bit deeper this year?
Well, we're just main thing is staying dedicated to the cause. We're just film a lot. Those afternoon workouts in the summer made you focus your whole day on football.
Yeah.
And then by the time you got there,
that's
all you was focused on.
You as a quarterback, how would you best describe this team, the nucleus of this group of people?
I would say we're together. We're one.
Like a family?
We're family, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Taking the role of quarterback, what's that been like, as far as heading into this season and having to shoulder that kind of responsibility?
Well, we have a lot of great athletes on the team, so it's it's easier to.
One in particular that's coming back that was one of our nominees for an OSN Player of the Year, and you get that kind of talent. Kind of takes the weight off of you a little bit. I guess it's coach's philosophy is, okay, get the ball to our athletes. We're not asking you to do much except for that, and you do that well. All right, let's get down to the end of the road. Give us your name and your position and what grade.
Cameron Allen. I'm a right guard, and I'm a senior.
Okay, so it's your job to take care of him, make sure
Yes,
he's
sir.
upright, right?
Mr. Untouchable.
Okay, all right. It's going to make sure of that. And how is he in the huddle? How does he command the offense like that?
He has a voice that pulls us in, and we just have respect for our quarterback to listen to him.
And not like any of the other programs. And, Walter is, of course, a really tight-knit community. What's it like to have your whole entourage here, and they're not even, being on the show today?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know I was speaking.
There you go. Until you got here.
Until I got here.
That's good. What did you want to come in as a senior? What did you want to do to improve, to be better at O-line?
Big thing is just pad level and aggression for me.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Whatever my grandma puts on the plate.
That's the second one that we got to family stuff. Okay, that's good. But what is her favorite, though? If you had to say, Grandma, it's my birthday, and I would like...
Chicken and dumplings.
Chicken and dumplings. All right, nothing wrong with that. And what's your hobbies? What do you like to do when you're not playing football?
Read my Bible and fish.
Very good. Any particular? Are you catfish, bass fishing? What kind of fish? Or any kind of fishing?
Whatever I can catch.
Okay. Farm pond or lake?
I go down to the creek, but if I had a choice, I'll go out to Eureka Lake.
Okay.
Get some bass.
And do you already have the right lures for knowing what to catch that? Any competition? We have some other people that are probably hunter and fishing. A lot of times it's video games, who's the best, but who's the best fisherman on the team?
I honestly don't know. I would say me.
It's going to be you. All right, I like that. Okay, and is there a game that you've circled on the calendar as you're hyped up? I cannot wait. It's going to be like my Christmas morning to unwrap gifts. What game would that be?
That would be Minko.
Minko. All right. Coach went all the wrong way to get to Minko to watch Minko, but had that opportunity. Well, Coach, thanks for bringing the entourage that you did.
Absolutely.
Happy belated birthday, and you got to treat her nice. Maybe next time, not take her through a drive-through. It's like
and you talk about it, all these kids coming, and it's the big deal. I mean, to be able to honor these young men and the players. They didn't have this kind of thing when I was in high school. And it's just a good thing for the kids, the community, and be able to promote the program, but more importantly, and promote the kids, because that's what it's all about, and that's what we're here for. So.
All right, and that's what we're going to do with Week 1 with the Walters Blue Devils, and Hilton is on the schedule, 6:30 for the pregame. Cody, the Pennington brothers, Josh and Cody are going to do an outstanding job. They eat, breathe, and sleep Walters football, so you're going to get all of that, then some coming up this week on Friday's ball game. 6:30 for pregame, 7 o'clock for kickoff for the Walters Blue Devils. So we're going to come and close out the show, and we'll be back at the La Grande Cantina in the mall right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton Fort Sill Regional Airport, just 1 mile to anywhere, offering non-stop service to Dallas-Fort Worth. Fast, friendly, and convenient without all the hassles. Easy parking, and with close proximity to your arrivals and departures, all in their newly renovated terminal. Here to there in just 1 mile. To book your mile to anywhere destination from LAW, log on to AA.com. or call 800-433-7300.
Well, just when we get started, it's already over. I mean, I can't believe that, we get so many, and it's just to go back and review all of that with 6 schools with coaches and players. We want to thank all of the coaches and players, especially Walters, who brought half the team practically to load up the restaurant. And we want you to come and join us each and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. at LeGrand Cantina here in the mall. Great food, great service. I want to compliment you on your staff. Really a family event because, when I said, okay, well, my sister is doing this and my brother's doing that. So it really is a family atmosphere here.
We are grateful to, have my sister and my brother helping me here to serve our authentic Mexican food,
Yeah, and with authentic Mexican food. Now, if you've never had it and you're walking in the door for the first time, like I had the chili rellenos last week, and that was really good. There were 2 huge on the plate, and it was with shrimp and mushrooms, and the sauce was really good, and I could eat the chili rellenos. I was staying away purposely because I thought this is probably going to be a hot jalapeno, but it wasn't. It was very good.
Pepper.
Well, yeah, and it was very good. So what would you recommend for the first timers? You've never gone. You're going to come in the next couple of days. And you want to try it. Your recommendation to say this would really kind of give you what I want them to have a taste of Mexican food.
I'm going to emphasize el molcajete.
Okay, and that's the protein bowl?
Because
okay.
The steaming bowl, because it has all the flavors of authentic cuisine.
Okay, all right. So you give it a try. It's LeGrand Cantina in the mall. Want to thank all 6 of our schools, all 3 Lawton schools, Cache, Elgin, and Walters with the Blue Devils. And thank you, because we're going to have another great week of football. Starting on Thursday, Lawton High will take on Duncan, 6:30 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. Everybody else, yes, all 12 teams are in action. There'll be 11 games on Friday, so download the app. You can easily get it on your Apple and Android device. Just search the Oklahoma Sports Network. It's free to download and free to watch. We're also on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. For those on Facebook, give us a like, give us a follow, and then on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, you've been watching a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network, a coach's show wrapped up here at LeGrand Cantina. We'll see you this weekend for all of our football games. Vote for our Player of the Week, and we'll just stay tuned right here to the Oklahoma Sports Network.